breaking news.
And that breaking news is another case of the coronavirus here in the state of Missouri. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Claire Kellett. So now there are 6 confirmed cases in Missouri. The latest infection came from Greene County, where Springfield is. There have been 170 people tested in Missouri. 164 of those tests have come back negative. And there are 93 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the state of Illinois right now. Over the weekend, we learned of the first positive tests in the Metro East, 2 of them in St. Clair County, 1 in Clinton County. Also developing right now, the stock market taking huge losses. A live look, the Dow Jones now down more than 2,000 points. Trading was briefly halted after a drop in the S&P 500 triggered a circuit breaker, the 3rd time in a week that has happened. And the rough day on Wall Street comes after the Federal Reserve cut interest rates to 0. The last time the prime rate was this low was during the global recession more than a decade ago. The Centers for Disease Control is now urging people to avoid gatherings of 50 people or more for the next 8 weeks. That happening for the next 2 months. Experts say social distancing is very critical to helping stop the spread of the coronavirus. Counties in our area have issued similar guidelines. Those counties are Madison and St. Clair in Illinois, and St. Louis and St. Charles County in Missouri, as well as St. Louis City. This ban applies to gatherings like concerts, even weddings that have been planned for the next 8 weeks. The ban does not apply to daycares or businesses, so your gym, your grocery store, other retail stores can remain open right now. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has ordered all bars and restaurants to shut down by the end of today. News 4's Caroline Hecker spoke with one Belleville diner very worried about their future.
Moore's Restaurant has been a staple of the Belleville community for 35 years, but tonight the owner and his 10 employees will close the door one last time, uncertain when they'll reopen. Don Moore has been in the family business his entire life and says he was shocked by the governor's announcement on Sunday. He says closing for at least 2 weeks will be detrimental to his bottom line and leave him in the red. Specializing in breakfast, he doesn't have plans for a carry-out business, at least for now.
Surprise and disappointment. We was totally surprised, taken by big surprise. And, you kind of like to plan for stuff like this. And apparently, it came from the governor, so I'll blame it on him. All of a sudden, he decides to close the restaurants, and without letting anybody know or anything.
Now, Moore's Restaurant will reopen, but the owner says he's just not sure when. But to do so, he says he will either have to take out a loan or dip into his savings, both of which he hopes are a last resort. In Belleville, Caroline Hecker, News 4.
St. Louis Mayor Lyda Krewson says St. Louis City is also considering closing restaurants and bars, and a decision on that will come soon. Within just the last couple of hours, more closures have been announced in the St. Louis area. The St. Louis Zoo will be closed until at least April 3rd. That includes all educational programs. And the Missouri State High School basketball season is now over. Several local schools played games in front of very limited crowds over the weekend. But officials say because of the CDC recommendations, the state championship games scheduled for this upcoming weekend have now been canceled. The St. Louis Aquarium in downtown St. Louis also temporarily closing through March 31st because of the ban on gatherings over 50 people. Employees, though, will continue to tend to the 13,000 animals in the aquarium during the closure. The visitor center inside Forest Park also announcing today that they would be closed indefinitely. If you have a locker and stuff inside of it, you can call to set up a time to get all of your belongings back. Officials say the playground next to the visitor center will remain open. This week, all schools in St. Louis City and St. Louis County will close because of the virus. Schools will close beginning this Wednesday, March 18th, until at least Friday, April 3rd. All school activities will be canceled. Some districts are looking at ways to allow kids to take online classes from home.
Superintendents around the area have been discussing this possibility for several weeks, so we've been planning and making contingency plans for such an event.
Schools in St. Charles County and Jefferson County are also closing, and the St. Louis Archdiocese also closing all Catholic schools as well. There could be announcements on schools in Franklin and Lincoln counties soon.